So I don't think it should be a surprise that Bob Iger is yet at it again once more when it comes to his overall view of his customers, as he likes to call them, as well as the shareholders, and what's going on with all the divisions over at the Walt Disney Company. One of the biggest ones of all that's really suffering as we speak is Marvel Studios, alright? Apart from Lucasfilm, and that's a whole nother story, we have Marvel Studios that had one of the worst years throughout 2023, by the way, which so happened to land on Disney's 100th year anniversary. This is makjor. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at makjor1. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So, ever since the Marvels released back in November of 2023, we have all witnessed, everything going on with director Nia DaCosta and Bob Iger endlessly defending that film and saying how there was no agenda attached to that and how basically everything looking ahead for the Marvel Cinematic Universe is looking very bright, especially for the 2025 year. That's what they keep on spewing non-stop. Now, focusing on Bob Iger, as I always like to call him Bob Liger, you guys know this and have known this for a while now, because that's all he likes to do. Remember the comment about quieting down the noise and how he reverted everything afterwards? Well, it gets even worse when it comes to the MCU. Let's get into all of this, shall we? Now, specifically, of course, we already know that Bob Iger is creating a large shakeup over between, of course, the board of directors and everything happening with the Disney executives, especially after everything that has been going on with the Disney live-action remakes, as well as the current status of Lucasfilm, and that's just the beginning. However, when it comes to the MCU, it only gets worse. Now, with Bob Iger and the board of directors running multiple emergency meetings each month about the current status of Disney, one major development now has much to do with Bob Iger and what he had to address concerning the Marvel Universe, where he delivered the following. Regardless of our miscalculation for our box office projections with our latest Marvel film, The Marvels, I would like to address what we have in store for the coming years, especially for our 2025 year, with our current slate of Marvel-related projects. After much research via our analysts and conversations we have had with Mr. Fiege, we found the true value for the Marvel Universe moving onwards would be to focus on the importance of acknowledging diversity, equity, and inclusion. And with that, I am proud to announce that we will be incorporating these in a very special way with our upcoming projects such as Captain America: Brave New World, Fantastic Four, and our most anticipated film, Blade. By focusing on DEI, we hope to reach a wider global audience that will provide the Walt Disney Company a larger customer base to support our Marvel lineup for what lies beyond next year. After carefully discussing these matters with Mr. Fiege, we found it was also a great step to create original storylines by either shifting away from source material and or altering source material from these popular comics to create unexpected storylines for the many projects for both television and film that are actively in the works right now. We value the importance of female-driven roles as well, and how we aim to make that our number one focus with the many projects that we have in different stages of development currently for both next year and our 2026 lineup of projects, some of which we will be proudly announcing in the coming months. We politely ask everyone to let the products speak for themselves and to not fall into the misconception that this is any form of a culture war that Disney is starting, since the Walt Disney Company doesn't and never will get involved in such a thing like that. Many of our upcoming Marvel-related projects will also represent the LGBTQ community properly, with the many characters that we are excited to adapt into both live-action and animated form. We have made this abundantly clear with the great team that we have working at Marvel Studios, including Mr. Fiege, who hopes to bring the Marvel Universe into a new era that will value representation. The biggest obstacle that we have had to go through with these challenges, and these changes as well for the Marvel slate, was uninformed customers that don't understand the goals that we have set to transform the MCU to gravitate toward many different cultures and communities, and how that is our number one priority right now, to test the waters on what can be successful. We have come to realize that we have been excluding an important demographic that would boost the value for our Marvel Studios division that we hope to expand in the near future as well. I think the word agenda gets tossed around way too often from a small margin of our customers that support the Marvel films and programs that don't really understand the value of DEI. Now guys, before I move on about what Bob Iger is spewing, let me just say one thing here. This is the typical Bob Iger response, saying that we have no agenda, but we do have an agenda. That's basically what he's really saying. That's what it all boils down to. And this all comes in the wake of him saying multiple times that they are willing to, quieting down the noise, or that they are actually not getting involved in any level of a culture war, or that nothing is agenda driven or based like that. And it's all a complete lie to the shareholders. It's just to keep the Walt Disney Company afloat and to keep the shareholders happy and confident for the following year. Now, look, at the same exact time, we know that the shareholders, many of which that fall way, way below the top three, alright, we're talking about BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, really are beginning to wake up to Disney's nonsense. And after everything that happened with Nelson Peltz weeks and weeks ago, and how he said if change is not made throughout this year, he will be back in 2025. So there will be another Nelson Peltz situation next year if nothing changes. And I think what Bob Iger said here pretty much guarantees Peltz returning and another attempt to get a seat at the board, to really change the ways of Disney, and it's only going to keep happening, of course, year and year. And of course, we already know that Bob Iger plans to step down in 2026, which could either mean that we're going to get somebody worse as a CEO, or maybe someone just equally as bad. We'll have to wait and see. But focusing more so on this, alright, moving onwards, he goes on to conclude, I can promise everyone that falls into the majority of our customer base that DEI will be a major focus for everything Marvel starting in 2025 as we aim to transform one of our groundbreaking divisions. So I don't know if you guys knew this, but they are also investing like billions of dollars into expanding their multiple theme parks around the globe, which I think is going to be more wasted, of course, revenue. And more wasted funds, I should say, that's not going to drag in the expected revenue that they are pretty much projecting right now. At the same exact time, it's also, creating a series of box office failures, a lot of flops on the horizon. I mean, 2025 is not looking good at all. In fact, there's been a lot of confidence issues with the MCU. This is exactly why Captain America 4 has been going through so many changes, why Blade has been going through so many changes as well, and the same exact thing happening with Fantastic Four. It's a vicious cycle that's seemingly never ending at this point. So overall, I would love to hear what you all have to say about Bob Iger, what you all have to say about the board of directors that really are still supporting all of this nonsense, and to a degree. And I would love to hear what you all have to say about that below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.